All right, I had one of those moments looking for my car in a parking lot. For some reason, I thought I went in through the other entrance, and it's probably like the last time I went into Walmart instead of this time. So I was on the wrong side of the parking lot looking for my car, and when it didn't make sense that somebody would have stolen it. I'm thinking, this doesn't make any sense. It's not like an easy car to steal. I locked the doors. There's all these cars that get stolen. This generally wouldn't have been it. What I did is I went in that. Now I remember what happened. I went in that side in my car, and I was going to park, but then I moved to the other side because I realized what I initially wanted to look at. So I had some exercise. But you know what's really neat? This car has a panic button. So you just walk around the parking lot hitting the panic button, and all of a sudden you hear, neek, neek, neek. So that was cool. But I did walk around that side because I had memory of pulling in over there, and I did. And then I scooted over 3 or 4, actually more than 4 or 5 lanes to finally park somewhere else. I feel like I want to go that way. Even though back to where I live is the other way. But the Lord wants me to go this way. Still, all I need is a woman, I'll tell you that. And God will be a lot nicer to all of you. I'm just telling you that. So all that activity you do to confuse that is pretty much what's condemning the planet to a large degree. I mean, I interact with women, but anytime one would be something I reel it, they kill it because they look for it. So a lot of yogurt, Greek yogurt, a lot of sherbet ice cream, a lot of aloe vera, and some of that Prevacid, I guess. I'm finally able to cut back on the Prevacid and everything. It looks like it's on its way to heal. I'd have been there a couple weeks earlier had there not been an issue. What is this church here? Whatever this church is up and on, healed. Whoa. Pleasant Hill Baptist Church. Whoa. Up and on. I could go in the Tractor Supply, but I'm not in the mood. I have no idea where I'm going, but it just said, turn right here. Actually, I know what road I'm on now, though. This is one of the roads I was going to live off of. I'm now saying, see, that's why. There's a good medical facility over here. Let's make it great. Oh, no, power lines. I don't live near power lines. I don't mind living where I live. It's just, I'm actually tickled. I mean, I don't remember that level of diversity, and it's not phony diversity. I don't remember that, because when you get into liberal diversity, it ruins the place, because it's all phony diversity. But I don't remember that level of, what does that do? The center? I don't remember that level of diversity since growing up in Logan, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It reminds me of it. It's just like, it tickles me, all the people. I look at them, I'm like, which guy am I now? Because I'm a slow kid. I'm looking around at people, and everybody has their place in my mind. Like, we all have that kind of set up in our minds. And now I'm on the other side of life, and I'm thinking, which guy was I? I don't think there was a guy like me, actually. I interact with everybody equally. I'm really kind of hungry, but that's okay. I enjoy being here. I'm going to have to get gas soon. Probably a pretty big tank on this thing. Like I said, I'd like to get rid of it and get on my bicycle. But I guess I have to get a vehicle. I don't know. I'm looking. There's a lot of Renegades out. I'm looking at them. I mean, the thing is, it's similar price to the 500X. Maybe a little bit more mileage. But it's, a little more room. The 500X doesn't have that payload capacity that the Renegade has. And the Renegade has 4 low. And they should put that in the 500X. They have an autocross one that they put skid plates on, but I don't know if it has the 4 low yet. They stopped the 500, that Abarth Speedster little thing. They don't build that anymore. They might fold. That would be an issue, but if I get it for a low enough price, that won't be an issue, Because actually the Hummers are going up in price, and they were discontinued. And it could be the deep state also, you never know if it's just happening or the deep state. Of course, if it's happening, it's still their will to curse people they hate. They work with Satan to do that. It's definitely, if you live in Tyler, Texas, you'd have a little bit of ground clearance on your vehicles. Or drive slow. I'll explain the whole situation of why I'm going to Louis Gomart once I'm finished that church up and on. Whoa. But I'm going to wait for it to get taken care of before I say anything. Holy Spirit's floating around, and I can't quite tell what is actually happening around the Holy Spirit. I mean, Satan's here also, but of course where Satan is, the Holy Spirit is there even more so. I don't like these power lines. I was in a couple of the apartment complexes off of, I don't know if it's Grande or Grand or how they say it, but I don't know. These are power lines over here. I wouldn't want to live over here. All right, what road is this? Oh, is this? Wait a minute. Okay, I know where I am, I think. This is interesting. I don't know, do I need to get anything? I guess I'm just going to go back home. There's verification. It sounded like my alarm in my room. The cameras just went on. I have to look at that. So I got to do something tomorrow they didn't normally have to do, but I have to get it done. I mean, a normal person wouldn't do it, and people told me not to do it. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I'm not you. I don't live my life like that. I have to do it. I have to fix it. I have a conscience. But you know what? I never noticed unless this is not the road. That was it, I guess. I never noticed the power lines on this road until now. So a lot of these apartment complexes are over by the power lines. You're not supposed to live near windmills or power lines. I guess, God's filling me in as to why he didn't let me move. They were blinding me from seeing the power lines. Now, not all of them are directly on the power lines, but quite a few are. I was in Norman, or it was Moore, actually, Oklahoma. And there was beautiful homes, but they had these big power lines going like here next to the road, and then it was like in the backyard. It was almost in the backyard of these gorgeous homes. I'm like, you're not supposed to build near those. I don't think windmills are an absolute loss of technology or loss of value, but you're only supposed to put them in certain places. I really do believe using the wave, which I described years ago when I designed a wave generator, using the ocean's current, that's the best. Because you can put it underwater and then fish can use it. It gets covered with algae and all that. But it keeps, as the current moves in and out, it generates electricity. I designed it online. Just, there you go. I can't find a girlfriend. What makes you think that I'm going to be able to get anywhere with that? The deep state will kill it. Make everybody run away. They stole my technology millions of times. They're criminals. It's a criminal enterprise. It's all they are. I mean, the rest is cover. So why would they not steal technology and say it's theirs? But I thought I was on my way to my vehicle, so it was a little discouraging not to be moving on that vehicle, but, it'll be what it'll be. So like I said, my blood pressure's obviously coming down. I mean, even while I was sick, the bottom number stayed low. Usually if I'm sick, the bottom number goes up, but it stayed low, and it's probably going to go lower because I'm losing weight. And I don't have that infection. That alone could probably help raise it up when you're bloated and you got an infection in your stomach. That would keep it up a little bit. That's why the last time I went to the doctor it was perfectly normal, because I healed of everything to a certain degree. But, can't recommend living in any of the states I've lived in. God is angry at this state right now. God said stay the course. I guess some people have repented. It was an enjoyable ride. And I'm sure if I bought a Fiat 500X, it does have a little bit of ground clearance, all-wheel drive. I'm sure, and I'd put up probably like a 2-inch lift on it. Nothing too crazy, I imagine. The one with the 4-inch lift looks great now. They built an autocross one. But I'm sure I'd have fun, good gas mileage and like driving around like that. But if I ever wanted to move something to storage or move something out of storage, it wouldn't, be sufficient. And that's why I wanted the Hummer too. The H3 is the smallest Hummer, but if you put the back seats down, you could fit quite a bunch of stuff. If you have those those tubs that you store stuff in, my kitchen carts could be transported in that. So if I ever did move into an apartment, I could probably comfortably take 3/4 of my storage unit in that particular vehicle. The FJ Cruisers are just way too expensive. It would have been easier to get one of those, but I don't have the money. I was hoping that maybe VA would come through with a couple hundred or a few hundred extra a month, and that would have probably put me into that price range, but not so lucky. And it's not that I can't buy it, but I'm not going to live that life where I'm worried where the next dollar is going to come from. No doubt the deep state called them and said no. Yeah, but always call car dealers here. There's really no vehicle I've looked for yet that's here, as far as I can see. But that's how Satan is. That's how anti-powerful Satan is. And that also includes the deep state. So tomorrow is going to be a little bit of work. I have to get some things done, personal business, and then hopefully I can get that done tomorrow. Hopefully it doesn't have to wait another day, and then I can move on to whatever else I need to do. I guess I don't have much to say right now. I had a bunch to say. Maybe I'll say it later. Remember, though, Satan is blinding our minds from seeing ways to help people. It doesn't have to be anything amazing. I mean, bring somebody 6 bottles of water that you know doesn't have water. And that probably could use it, especially with surgery coming up. John has cataract surgery. He's going to have 2, one on Tuesday, I think one a couple weeks later. And he needs to stay hydrated. And be hydrated for that surgery. It'll be better for him. He's coming home that night, they said. That's very interesting. Yeah? Cataract surgery. And then they said later on that day, it's so minimalist, the incision and everything that they use now. And it's so specific. Little, no error or very minimal error possibility, that he should actually start to be seeing that evening. He'll get the surgery in the morning. By the evening, he should be seeing, not perfectly, but he'll be healed enough for him to see well. Better than he probably sees now. So these are the things that Jesus dreamt of. If you're not a Mormon, you should study this stuff still. I mean, I can see that happening to that fella. I mean, I went through some amazing things in my life, but it's some interesting stuff, and it's whatever it is for you. For them it's something, for you it's something. You don't have to change your religion, believe any of it, but I think you would believe some of it, if not all of it. It's real. I mean, I was experiencing things before God led me to the Mormon information to find out what it was about. And I'm not a Mormon. I'm just a Mormon. I had already experienced a certain percentage of it